Hi, guys.
Awesome, thanks. Hey,
Debbie.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be talking with my 12-hour shift team.
that's so sweet of you.
I was so in love with 12-hour shift. It was dark, it was funny, it was hilarious. I laughed out loud. So when I saw that you guys did Ghost of the Ozarks, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what they bring us now.
Thank you.
And you did not disappoint me at all.
Well, that's great. That is so kind of you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
This film, Ghost of the Ozarks, is so much fun. It's intriguing. I see great nods in your story construct to things like The Village, also drawing on the mythology of the Ozarks, possibly even pulling in something from the Brooks Blevins book about the 1929 real-life murders and rapes that happened with one of these cloistered communities. Just really cool elements that are as timely now as they would have been in 1866.
Absolutely.
So I've got to ask you guys because I know that you did a short first. So what was the inspiration? Where did this story come from?
This is Jordan, and originally I grew up in the Ozark Mountains, and I actually grew up in a town called Bald Knob, and there was a group of vigilantes called the Bald Knobbers, and they ran rampant in the Ozark Mountains in the 1800s, and they became like this vigilante group. So as a kid, I was haunted because I thought they were right outside my door. And this lore, and yes, they turned into a membership of 5,000, and it became this huge thing in the Ozark Mountains. And that's where the inception came from. And then when we got Tara and Tommy aboard and shot the short film, we immediately knew that we wanted to tell a story in this world with Tara's character and Tommy's character, and we really kind of started over from scratch from there into what it is today.
I love the characters. I love the character constructs. I especially love that in 1866, the Civil War may have been over, but you still didn't see black doctors. You didn't see them holding a place of prominence in any kind of community. Same thing with women. Women were still looked down upon. So to have your two protagonists here, a black man and a white woman, I thought was great. But I got to tell you, Tara, your chemistry with Thomas is great.
Thank you so much. That is a deep, real love from knowing him for over a decade and just knowing how wonderful he is.
And that comes through the beautiful, montage that Matt and Jordan have put together in the doctor's office, where Annie is showing James and James is showing Annie, and you can see that ease. It really comes across, and the fact that Annie is no bullshit. Annie calls things like she sees them, man. And, be careful because she's got a great aim. She'll pick up that shotgun and aim it right at you.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you to say. Thank you.
Now, this begs the question, because you shot this at the height of lockdowns in 2020, when we were just, protocols were still being developed and monitored and hit and miss, and you guys pulled this off. I love how you incorporated masking into the story. It solved one of your problems for the CDC. How did the pandemic impact your characters and your situational events with this film on the page, and then logistically from a visual shooting standpoint?
Sarah, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, sure. I think it's really interesting because we John Anthony Davison, and he's credited as our story consultant. He had a lot of great ideas. And back in February, actually might have been November of 2019, we added the element of the Founders Festival and everything that goes along with that. And so in February, they had been making these papier-mâché masks for these characters for the festival. And then when the pandemic happened, we just thought, well, we got real lucky with that aspect. So that actually worked out in our favor, having people have masks on. But yeah, Jordan really took the helm when it came to our COVID safety protocols. Several of our producers couldn't be producers on the ground because of the, COVID pandemic. So, Jordan really, his mentor, Dr. Charles Barber, helped guide us and really was able to make it happen. Jordan, if you want to elaborate on more of that, you can.
Oh, thanks. I did put together our protocol, and we had a lot of meetings with SAG before they came out with their protocols, and it definitely mirrored ours, and that really speaks to Dr. Charles Barber. He is the diversity and inclusion director for the Pentagon, and he's been a mentor of mine since I was 9, and we were really lucky to have him right there by us. And I was like, hey, is this safe? Is this what y'all are doing? And he's like, absolutely, dude, go make this film. And so, yeah, we really had a lot of help to make sure that happened. But the whole cast and crew, once we decided we were going to do this and we were going to do this safely, everybody just did their part, and it was awesome.
Well,
it was full of respect, and everybody, we made it through the entire production and the 2 weeks after everyone got home, and no illnesses. We feel so blessed everyone was kept safe.
Oh, yay! That is a feat unto itself, Tara. But this is a testament. This is a testament to you, Matt, and to you, Jordan, as co-directors on this project. Because as you're watching this, yes, I see all of your extras, and theoretically, we could deem it social distancing, or in normal times, it would just be, all right, they got to live here, but that doesn't mean they have to like each other, so they're just staying apart. But I'm wondering, how challenging was it for your blocking and to set up your shots, bearing in mind the protocols that were in place while you were shooting?
I think, there was a certain level of fear. This is a math class, by the way. There was a certain level of fear within the actors and within everybody. So I'm sure when we did our blocking read-throughs, there was a natural tendency to just be a little further apart maybe than usual by some of the actors. And we're like, that's great. It works what we need. But for the big crowd scenes, specifically the ones at the Founders Festival.
Yeah, the third act scene.
We had 15 maybe extras. And then in post, in Tara and Jordan's backyard, we set up a green screen and I filmed them and a couple friends over and over again, pretending to be different crowd, people switching clothes out. And we added like 60 people or something like that of just them in extras. So we found ways to fill in when we didn't have the space to actually do big crowd stuff.
And if I don't mind, there was one more thing that I think I really enjoyed. The first time you go into the bar, you see all the characters and you talk with all of them. And we actually had to shoot that bar scene, which was technically kind of a one-shot over a 6-week period because we couldn't have everybody in the rooms together. And I'm really glad that no one's noticed.
I personally thought that, okay, the only way to pull that off would have been usher in one corner of the room, usher in the other corner of the room, but it's seamless. Because, I'm looking at this from a directorial standpoint of, okay, they got protocols in place. They can't have, at that point, you couldn't have that many people in a closed room. How did they pull that off? So I'm thinking about it logistically, but visually watching it, it's seamless. You'd never know. You would never know.
Wonderful.
And I think this is to your benefit that you had to shoot it, make it look like a oneer, but shoot it in piecemeal, because we do get to see and meet all the main characters in that bar. And it plays out really well, and it adds to the mystery of what's already happening after we have met the wonderful Mr. McCune, and you couldn't have done any better. Phil Morris is perfect in that role.
Yes, he is.
He exudes, there's an elegant smarminess to him in his over propriety. of how he walks, how he stands, and an underlying mystery with everything he says. His delivery. And Phil is always able to do this so well. So, man, you really nailed it casting him. Immediately with his introduction, and then we go meet everybody, you set this up so wonderfully for us.
Sarah, do you want to talk about how you met Phil?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, Phil, we were so incredibly happy that Phil got to play Matthew, because when Jordan and I were writing the feature back in 2016, I had just worked with him on a Roddenberry project, a short film, and I just thought he's an incredibly talented actor. He's such a wonderful person, and really that phenomenal voice. So when we were writing, Matthew's dialogue, we both heard Phil's voice saying all of his lines, and it's pretty magic when you do a proof of concept, and who Tommy and I were both the leads of, that we get to also be in the feature film, but then also to have one of the actors that we heard their voice for the character actually get to play that part too. It was pretty much a dream come true.
It's a testament to all of you in crafting this film, because even with this society that you have created behind this fence, within the fence, we see a hierarchy immediately. On meeting McCune, there is a hierarchy. He's the one who's moneyed. He's wearing the brocade vest. He's got palatial surroundings. And as we go on, we learn. He goes to New Orleans a lot. So, okay, you think voodoo, you think something's happening, but he's getting money from somewhere. And you give us these great breadcrumbs, but you set us up so we know that there is a hierarchy. Even though everybody is pretty much purposeful and useful, you must have a purpose and you must be useful. There's still that hierarchy, and you get the sense from the beginning that people are under thumbs of others. And you really develop this at a slow burn pacing that I really enjoyed, because then you interweave, you keep bringing in the ghost in the red fog that knocks you out cold when you're out in the forest. So and you interlace these great breadcrumbs. Mr. McCune's wonderful arthritic medicine that he needs. So I'm on board, and it's like you just draw us in. You get your clutches into us, and you don't let go.
That's so awesome to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like writing, when you say breadcrumbs, sprinkling it throughout, like that is something that was so fun to do in the writing of the script, especially when Sean came in and added more breadcrumbs. And then we also love that people have said, like, I got to see it again, and oh my God, seeing it the second time, it's even better. I noticed so many cool things.
Yeah.
And that's always a flattering comment. So
yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I've watched it twice now for that very reason, because there's so much really cool stuff that you have happening. And one of the really cool elements, and this is all due to you, Matt, is your score. I love the score. I love hearing some nice, sharp string tremolo in here that pops up.
I'm a big fan.
Were you composing the score before, during, after? What was your process like to bring in this final icing on the cake element to this film?
Well, the song that Tim and Angela sing was written a couple weeks before production started. Jordan wrote the lyrics, and that actually became the base for a lot of the melodies of the score.
Yeah, I was picking up motifs of it, yeah.
Yeah, and then so basically I had that in my head for 5 months, and then started doing the score 5 months later. And then we had done some recordings with Tara for the short film, singing a song, and I took her voice and started chopping it up and reversing it, and then realized that her voice was also important. So I brought her into my studio and had her record a bunch of different vocal lines that I would chop up and turned into an instrument. And then she became the voice of the ghosts. And then, so her vocals started to, every time you heard that, it was either referring to the woods or the ghosts. And then suddenly that sound would start happening other places in the film, also being like breadcrumbs to why are the vocals happening here when that's the thing for the woods, and like that kind of stuff. And the music's also like playing games with you the way the film is.
Yeah, everything about this film is like you take us down one path and then you give us something else that makes you think, oh, wait a minute, let me rethink that. And then but everything comes together and you see how all of these breadcrumbs do actually lead us to the ultimate path. And that's a testament to all of you and all of the aspects of this production coming together, be it the costuming, be it the music, the characters, the performance. But for this film, a very present character here is this fenced in community itself. And Jordan, Mr. Production Designer, wow. Wow.
Thank you. That's really nice of you.
This is a great production design to create this world and the different aspects. I mean, you've got Torb's bar, and you've got McCune's office, and you've got one room in Annie's house. You've got the doctor's office, and then you've got the great exteriors. Where did you find this location, and how much work did you have to do? Because I understand that somebody's father is also a master carpenter.
Yeah, that'd be mine.
So so we employed cheap family labor.
You better believe it. My dad and I, and our first AC and our director's assistant for Ghosts, they actually helped me build the town. So I went out 9 months before and started doing that. And it took us 9 months and working about 7 days a week to get that ready. But what it really did was helped us get the talent that we were able to attach to the project. You know, Tim, we had a breakfast meeting with Tim Blake Nelson, and once he saw kind of the work we were putting into the town, I think that was our calling card to be like, hey, we're serious about that. We're serious about what we're doing, and we want to make a good movie. And I think he saw that. So for us, it was like trying to hit a home run and to get people on board. And so I really appreciate that. We put a lot of work into that.
Production design is spectacular. Now, were any of those buildings, was anything already standing at this location, or did you have to do a build from scratch?
I built 17 buildings in Torb's Bar and I guess doctor's office, and then there's a place called Parker's Homestead where we were able to get the exteriors for the church or the schoolhouse and Annie's cabin, and it was awesome because Matt went in later on, and we put our lamp post that we had made in that other location, and then Matt added the wall behind it, and it really cemented in that spot into I think a really good look.
Oh my God, it's spectacular. And something that's great because you were building this over a length of time, the elements got to help weather a lot of the wood to give it an old patina.
For better or worse sometimes, because some of the fence actually started warping, like there were pieces of wood.
Because there were a lot of the trees that had been blown over from tornadoes. We had a local sawmill who started cutting those up for us, and usually you're supposed to let wood dry for months, and we had days. And so, yes, we put them up, and then they started drying and kind of shrinking, and it definitely added to the aging thing. And, I mean, I planted the grass in November, and it wasn't until June, that we shot. So there was a lot of, prep work and stuff like that went into it that really helped, create it and make it feel like it's been there forever.
This world felt so real, guys. You feel like we are back in time in that era. And I really just so love that attention to detail that you put in. How difficult was it to put this cast together and have a cast solidified while you're building, you're planting, trying to come up with protocols? You've got Tim Blake Nelson, which I have to say, the timing of this film to come out now, after seeing Tim's performance in Old Henry last year, is perfect. So this old grizzled idea of what he can play is already in people's minds. So the timing of release is great. But you've got Tim, you've got David Arquette, who is so much fun. Again, here is Douglas Angela Bettis. And I love Joseph Rudd, who played William. How difficult was it to assemble this cast and get them locked in for that amount of time before you actually shot?
I'll just quickly say I feel like Tim was so impressed with our costume designer for Ghost that she was hired on to do the costumes for Old Henry also.
They filmed Old Henry. Yeah, they filmed Old Henry that November after we shot that
After
summer.
you guys.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, we brought. I guess back in the fall of 2019 is when we asked if David and Christina wanted to be a part of the film, and we had been talking casting ideas and. A shot in the dark, we thought, well, Torb, it'd be really cool for Tim Blake Nelson, and David had done a film with them. They're good friends. He said, well, I'll send him the script. And when we heard back from Tim and he said, I would really like to do this project, we were just over the moon. And we love Angela Bettis. She is just phenomenal in all aspects of the word. So, after working with her on 12-hour shifts, we want to have her in every project we do. And she brought such a beauty and grace to Lucille that we were so happy with. And and Joseph Rood is so talented, and I'm so glad people are starting to get to see him do his acting thing, because he really did blow me away. There's several parts of the film that just makes me tear up with him.
Oh my God, that third act, that when we hear him call out. Now, I know Meredith is going to take you guys away from me in a minute here, but I've got to ask you about the ghost itself and the design and the look and the creation of that. Who came up with that spectacular idea for the look and the red smoke?
Yeah, Jordan, do you want to take that question for the ghost?
I was going to first say the inspiration, I don't know if you talked about it in this call, but the inspiration for the creatures originally was this group of vigilantes in the 1800s called the Bald Knobbers, and they had these horrible masks that were made out of their clothes with horns made out of socks. And I think originally the main idea for the ghost would be what if that was a real thing, and those were based on a real idea, and then it falls what would it really look like if these creatures were based on that? And then
and then we had done some documentaries for the Jim Henson Company, and with their creature swap. And they really liked what we've done, and we've worked with them on several projects. And so, Jurgen Ferguson came in and helped us kind of realize that monster. And it was during COVID, so he kind of had to do that all over Zoom, and he did a great job, because when we got the costume, we were able to use it, which is pretty incredible. So it was quite an undertaking by several folks.
Yeah, I love the look, and I love that for the longest time we see the feet, the toes, and from the knee down is the only thing we see, other than a possible shape in the red fog. When we get the reveal, it's incredible, and then the second reveal is even more fun.
Thank you.
This has been so fun. I love this film.
So fun.
I love 12-hour shift. I can't wait to see what y'all do next.
Let's keep in
Thank
touch.
you
You're
so
such
much.
a pleasure.
Oh, you guys are fantastic. I am at your disposal anytime. Believe me.
God.
Oh, it's so lovely, Debbie.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie.
Oh, thank you guys. And I can't wait till we get to talk again.
Yes,
Yay.
for sure.
Enjoyed it.
You guys have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Fantastic.
You as well.
Bye.